let's talk about the first time. It's one of those milestones in life that's often surrounded by a mix of excitement, a ton of curiosity, and, let's be honest, a good amount of nervousness. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain and look at the actual science of what's happening inside the body. So, yeah, let's just dive right in.
But before we get into any of the nitty-gritty biology, we need to frame this the right way. This quote right here, it's probably the single most important idea to hold on to. The first time isn't the entire book, it's just chapter 1. It's the very start of a much bigger story about intimacy, connection, and learning. And having that perspective is absolutely key.
Because, before anything physical even happens, the whole experience really begins up here, in your mind. The psychological and emotional side of things totally sets the stage for everything that follows.
So do any of these questions sound familiar? Will it hurt? Will I even know what I'm doing? These feelings, all this anxiety about performance or pain or body image, they are maybe the most universal part of the whole experience. And it is so important to know that this is 100% normal. It's a totally natural response to a new and pretty significant moment.
Now hold on. Before we go a single step further, we have to establish the absolute, bedrock, non-negotiable rule you see on this slide. Sex must always be consensual. You always have the right to say stop or wait at any point for any reason. No exceptions. This is the foundation of any safe, positive, and respectful experience.
So how do you manage all that anxiety we were just talking about? Well, time and preparation are definitely your best friends. Spending, say, 15 to 20 minutes on foreplay, kissing, touching, it's not just about building arousal. It's about giving both the mind and the body a chance to relax. And that's exactly why artificial lubricant is so often recommended by doctors. See, anxiety can trigger adrenaline, and adrenaline can actually get in the way of natural lubrication. So a good lubricant just helps make sure comfort is a given, no matter what.
Okay. Let's shift gears into the biology. Now we're going to look at the incredible ways the female and male bodies physically prepare for intercourse when they feel safe, comfortable, and aroused.
First up, let's demystify the hymen. It is so widely misunderstood. It's not a seal, it's not some kind of barrier. As you can see here, it's a thin, fleshy, and really flexible piece of tissue that already has natural openings. What's wild is that during puberty, the hormone estrogen actually causes it to thicken and become more elastic. It's like biology is already preparing it to be able to stretch.
Now this is really cool. The body has this super elegant solution for comfort. When a person with a vagina becomes aroused, blood flow to that whole area increases a lot. This pressure causes a clear, slippery fluid called transudate to basically, sweat through the vaginal walls. This is the body's own natural lubricant, and it's designed for one job, to reduce friction. And this slide right here shows you exactly why that matters so much. Without enough lubrication, you get more friction, which can lead to pain. There's a medical term for it, dyspareunia. But with proper lubrication, friction goes down, comfort and pleasure go up, and that, in turn, helps the mind relax. It creates this amazing feedback loop between feeling good physically and feeling calm mentally.
And get this, here's another amazing biological process. Vaginal tenting. As arousal builds, the cervix and uterus are actually pulled upwards. This causes the inner 2/3 of the vagina to expand and get longer. It's literally like a tent being raised, creating more space to make penetration more comfortable. Now over in the male body, arousal kicks off a pretty similar chain reaction. As you can see in these steps, it all starts with excitement. The nervous system sends out signals that tell the smooth muscles in the penile arteries, hey, relax. That makes the arteries wider, and blood rushes into these spongy tissues. And just like that, the penis becomes firm and ready for intercourse.
Okay, so the mind is ready, the bodies are prepared. Let's move on to the actual mechanics of the act itself, and what happens physically both during and right after.
Once penetration begins, a whole new physical feedback loop kicks in. The sensation of the vaginal walls provides stimulation, which helps to maintain the erection. You can think of it as a continuous biological conversation happening between both partners' bodies, sort of guiding them along.
So let's get to the big question. What actually happens to the hymen? Well, like we said, it's flexible, and it's designed to stretch. During first-time penetration, that's exactly what it does. It stretches. It might tear a little bit in the process, and that's where any minimal bleeding or slight discomfort might come from. But a really key point here, it never completely disappears.
And that slight discomfort or a little bit of bleeding from the hymen stretching,
it is almost always super short-lived. The science tells us it generally clears up within 48 hours as that tissue heals.
So, after it heals, what's left? The hymen just remains as these small, totally painless tabs of tissue around the vaginal opening. They're just a normal part of the anatomy after intercourse, and they don't cause any problems at all. It's just the new, settled state of that tissue.
We've covered the mind, the anatomy, the mechanics, the aftermath, which really brings us full circle, right back to that super important point we made at the very beginning.
So what's the big takeaway from all this biology? It's simply this. The first time is one single event, but it is not the finale. It's the beginning of a whole new story. A story about learning about your body, about your partner's body, and about building intimacy and connection over time.
The biology of that first day is fascinating, for sure, but it's over pretty quickly. And that leaves us with the most important question of all, the one that only you can answer. The first day has ended. So, what story comes next?